Why does everyone have the same sign, the exact same pens? Everybody's sign looks like it was made by the same 5-year-old. Highlighted how all the homemade posters looked incredibly similar, having made out of the same cardboard, colorful tape, the blue tape. That means it's the same company.
Ryan Reynolds isn't the charming, quick-witted icon the public believes him to be, at least not anymore. In a series of explosive on-set incidents, Reynolds has shocked Hollywood by turning his temper into a weapon that not only alienates colleagues but also threatens to undo years of carefully curated star power. It all started when a makeup artist, who happened to be one of the few behind-the-scenes pros working closely with him, found themselves at the center of his fury. Reynolds demanded that the artist drop everything and return immediately for a reshoot. When the artist couldn't comply due to other commitments, Reynolds didn't simply express frustration. He went so far as to threaten a career-ending blacklist. This wasn't an isolated lapse. It was a tipping point that signaled a long-brewing tempest beneath the polished surface of his funny guy persona. Industry insiders have been talking, and not in hushed tones. The outcry came from every corner of the film set, directors, co-stars, and crew members alike. Colleagues describe a man whose charming smile on red carpets evaporates the moment. The cameras stop rolling. The same man who once delivered witty one-liners is now infamous for tantrums that border on dictatorial. An array of accounts paints a picture of a celebrity who transforms into a volatile force behind the scenes. In one notorious episode, Reynolds reportedly used his authority to issue an ultimatum so severe that it left an entire makeup department reeling. The rapid-fire nature of his demands left little room for negotiation, and the fallout was immediate. Whispers of toxic behavior quickly became headlines. His behavior wasn't confined to just one incident. It's a pattern that's been emerging over time, eroding the public's once unquestioning admiration.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that?
I have nothing to say to him.
They weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle, but guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle.
Colleagues reveal that this wasn't an isolated case of a single bad day. It's part of a recurring pattern where Reynolds' on-set behavior has shifted from playful irreverence to ruthless control. There's a stark contrast between the charismatic, camera-ready persona and the harsh, unyielding attitude that has taken root off-camera. Directors recall moments when a simple scheduling conflict would trigger a meltdown, leading to abrupt changes in production plans and irreparable damage to team morale. Co-stars who once shared lighthearted banter with him during interviews now recount a growing reluctance to work with someone whose unpredictability seems to know no bounds. This shift has not only shocked his peers, but also left the entire industry questioning the sustainability of his brand.
About a week ago, my boss asked me to help on his kids' arts and craft project. Me, being a good employee, I was like, of course I'll help your kids. A bunch of blue tape and the same exact marker and the same size cardboard and the same photo, and said, hey, I need you to make 25 of the same poster boards.
In the wake of these revelations, the fallout has extended far beyond individual incidents. The ripple effect of Reynolds' behavior is evident in his rapidly crumbling reputation among Hollywood's elite. A once unifying figure is now the target of widespread criticism. Veteran directors who have long been the stewards of classic filmmaking express their dismay at his blatant disregard for the collaborative spirit that underpins the art of cinema. They warn that when a star resorts to intimidation, it undermines the entire creative process. Even actors who once benefited from the warmth of his on-screen chemistry now share tales of feeling sidelined and belittled on set. Their voices add to a growing chorus that questions not only his methods, but also his suitability as a leader in an industry that values both talent and temperament. Yet the backlash isn't limited to professional circles. Social media is abuzz with heated debates among fans and critics alike. Observers note that Reynolds' antics have spurred a fresh wave of cynicism about celebrity culture. What was once seen as harmless banter and over-the-top publicity has now transformed into a public relations nightmare. Fans who admired his self-deprecating humor are beginning to wonder if the jokes were a cover for something darker, a calculated display of power that has finally caught up with him. Every tweet, every online comment amplifies the sentiment that his nice guy routine is unraveling before our eyes. The digital age, with its unforgiving spotlight, has left little room for error, and Reynolds' actions are now being dissected and shared at an alarming pace. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the stark contrast between Reynolds' public image and his private conduct. On camera, he continues to play the role of the witty, self-assured leading man, effortlessly delivering quips that make audiences laugh. Off camera, however, the same person is described as a relentless taskmaster, a man whose insecurities manifest in explosive outbursts and manipulative tactics. This duality has led to a growing disconnect between the persona the public sees and the reality experienced by those who work with him. The carefully crafted narrative of a star who rose from humble beginnings to dominate Hollywood is now being questioned, as more insiders share their first-hand accounts of his temper and controlling behavior. It becomes increasingly clear that the line between performance and personality is dangerously blurred. Perhaps the most startling aspect of this unfolding drama is the reaction from some of Hollywood's most respected figures. Esteemed filmmakers who once collaborated with Reynolds on projects that pushed creative boundaries are now openly criticizing his methods. Their disapproval isn't just about one bad incident, it's a condemnation of an attitude that has been allowed to fester for too long. When a director known for his work on iconic films speaks out about the need for mutual respect on set, it sends a powerful message. It suggests that the industry is no longer willing to tolerate behavior that undermines the collaborative spirit essential for cinematic success. The reverberations of this sentiment are already being felt in boardrooms and on production sets, where discussions about accountability and change are taking center stage. Then there is the undeniable impact on his high-profile personal life. Reynolds' relationship with his equally scrutinized partner, often portrayed as the epitome of Hollywood glamour, is now being viewed through a lens of skepticism. The perfect couple image that once dominated tabloids is starting to crack under the weight of these controversies. Fans and critics alike are beginning to wonder how sustainable it is for a relationship built on public relations stunts to withstand the pressure of real-world consequences. If one half of the pair is known for erratic and toxic behavior, what does that mean for the other? The notion that their love story is a carefully choreographed performance is losing its luster, and questions about long-term fallout are emerging in every discussion. Amid the growing storm of criticism and speculation, there's a palpable sense that Reynolds might soon face more than just a public relations debacle. Industry insiders are beginning to speculate on possible repercussions, from being ostracized by influential peers to facing financial setbacks as studios distance themselves from controversy. Some even hint at the possibility of formal repercussions, such as being barred from future projects or forced to make public apologies in a bid to salvage what remains of his reputation. It's a dangerous path to tread for any celebrity, and Reynolds' case is quickly becoming a cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked ego and the erosion of trust in a high-stakes industry. The inevitable question remains: what will be the ultimate punishment for a man who has managed to alienate so many of his closest allies? The answer isn't straightforward, and it may come in the form of a gradual, relentless decline rather than a single decisive moment. In an industry that thrives on reputation, even the smallest crack can lead to a catastrophic collapse. As studios reevaluate their relationships with stars who bring more drama than talent, the message is clear. There is a limit to the behavior that will be tolerated. The Hollywood machine, once enamored by Reynolds' effortless charisma, may now be ready to make an example of him, signaling that power must always be balanced by accountability. Despite the backlash and the mounting pressure, Reynolds continues to project an image of unflappable cool, a facade that seems increasingly at odds with the harsh realities of his actions. Every public appearance, every carefully curated social media post is an attempt to reclaim the narrative of the beloved comedian. But for those who have witnessed his outbursts firsthand, the gap between the man on screen and the man behind the scenes has never been more evident. The laughter that once followed his quips now carries an edge of disbelief, as audiences begin to question whether the humor was ever genuine or simply a mask for deeper insecurities. This unfolding drama isn't just about one actor's fall from grace, it's a reflection of a broader reckoning within Hollywood. The era of unchallenged celebrity behavior may be coming to an end, as both the industry and its fans demand greater transparency and accountability. Reynolds' case is emblematic of a larger shift, a movement away from the era when a star's personal flaws could be overlooked in favor of box office appeal. In today's world, where every action is scrutinized and every misstep amplified, Maintaining a pristine public image requires more than just talent. It demands integrity, humility, and the willingness to accept responsibility. As the dust settles on these revelations, one thing is certain: the consequences of Ryan Reynolds' actions will continue to ripple through Hollywood for years to come. The man who once commanded laughter with his effortless charm now stands at a crossroads, his legacy in jeopardy. Will he manage to reinvent himself and regain the trust of an industry that has grown weary of his antics? Or will this controversy mark the beginning of an irreversible decline? Only time will tell, but
one thing is clear: the golden age of unchecked celebrity behavior is coming to an end, and Reynolds may well be its most vivid example.
in the end, what we're witnessing is a transformative moment in Hollywood, a reckoning that forces us to question not only the behavior of one man, but also the values that underpin an industry built on collaboration and mutual respect. As Reynolds faces the possibility of being sidelined and ostracized by those he once called friends, the true cost of his actions becomes all too apparent. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of power when wielded without accountability, and a stark reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out when their inner demons are allowed to run free. The fallout is already in motion, and as the industry braces for the next chapter, audiences are left to wonder, how much longer can the myth of the invincible celebrity survive in a world that increasingly demands authenticity over artifice?